Alright guys, welcome back to another G Auto Repair YouTube video. And today I'm not going to be doing any videos on repairs or anything like that or diagnostics. Instead, I've wanted to kind of rant about a certain topic. And it's a topic that has been around for a long time and has been covered on many other platforms a gazillion times. But I guess I was compelled to do this video after a small little experience I had a few days ago. And pretty much the topic is charging for diagnostics. Should a shop or technician charge or be allowed to charge for his time taken to diagnose a problem on a vehicle? And I feel that, and many of you professionals out there, if you're listening to this video, you're probably nodding your head right now and say, yes, we should be able to charge for that. And I agree. I strongly agree. And the situation arose a couple of days ago. It wasn't really a big deal. It just kind of frustrated me a little bit. But I had a first-time customer. First time. This is not a repeat customer. This is not a long, loyal customer that's been coming here for years or anything like that. No. First-time customer comes here, jumps out, pops the hood, and says, look, I have this little leak going on, and I think there's a bad mount, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to purchase this car, and I want to know what's wrong with it so I can negotiate the price or make a determination, decide if I want it or not, whatever the situation might have been. But the point is that he wanted a pre-purchase inspection. So I told him that. I said, all right, so what you want is a pre-purchase inspection. He says, yeah, that's what I want. I'm like, okay, well, I charge X amount of dollars for that. And it wasn't a crazy amount. I felt it was reasonable. It's my time. And I explained to the customer what I was going to do. I told him, look, we're going to drive the car, go for a test drive, see how it feels, see how it shifts. I'm going to plug in my scanner, do a complete scan of all the modules. I'm going to put it on the lift. I'm going to raise up the car. We're going to look at it underneath. We're going to look at everything, the wheels, the brakes, everything. And we're going to do a general inspection, pre-purchase inspection, and then I'll tell you what it needs. And then you can decide what you want to do. And immediately he kind of froze. I said, "Oh, okay. No. How much do you think is gonna be to fix that oil leak? And how much do you think is gonna be to fix this and that?" And I was like, "I gotta look at parts. I gotta look at there's different things I gotta look at before I can quote. But if you want a number, I'll throw a number out there. And he kind of staggered for a while there, got on the phone, called I don't know who. And then after about 20-30 minutes of just wasting my time, he said, oh, I want to come back with the owner. I'm going to be back in a couple hours and blah, 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 blah. The gentleman never returned. He never returned. And the next day I called, being courteous, just to make sure, hey, are you still wanting to look at your car? I mean, because I got a customers, I got slots, Didn't even have the decency to answer the phone. Called him twice. Didn't even have the decency to pick up the phone. And I think that's unfair and unreasonable. I'm charging for my time. Not only my time, but as you can see before you, there's several items here on the table. And I'm going to talk about those items and what it takes to be a true automotive technician. Not just do flunky down the street, that weekend warrior that he likes to tinker around. No, an actual technician. And the first item that you might notice is this patch here. And obviously, if you're a professional, you know what that patch means. That's Automotive Service Excellence certified. And if you are a professional and you're certified, you know that these bad boys cost money. Each certification costs money. And not only money for the test themselves, but the study material. You had to go to school, you had to have experience, you need to read up on books, you need to watch videos. I spend a lot of money for continuous education in this field. I've spent a lot of money over the years, training webinars, uh, what do you call those subscriptions to these digital online platforms that I can further uh, educate myself on how to properly diagnose and repair these vehicles. Today, vehicles are very complicated. They're not what they used to be 30, 40 years ago. So there's a lot of money here. If I were to stack up all the books I have, you couldn't even see it on the screen. And if you're a professional, you're nodding right now and saying, yeah, he's right. Not only that, then we have the scan tool. This scan tool right here, it's 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 a $2,000 scan tool just to plug in, bloop, plug in and say, hey, you got this code going on. Even if it's just to say that, I had to pay money for that. And this is not the most expensive scan tools. If you're talking about Snap-on, Matco, OEM type scan tools, you're talking about, $10,000, $12,000 or more. Who knows? And to supplement that, this is just an example. This is just a fraction of a percentage of what an automotive technician needs to diagnose. Just to diagnose. We have here this one of my personal favorites here, this all-tool smoke machine, and that's about 200 and some, almost $300, if I remember correctly. So if you have an evap code, you have an evap code leak, we need to figure it out. Okay, I need something like this to pump some smoke in there to see where the leak is coming. Where is that? And if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me use it already. So you're talking about what, 22, 23, 24, $2,500 just for that. If you need a fuel gauge, a good quality fuel gauge costs you around $500 for the kit, for all the little adapters. If you need this, that's another $200-$300. If you need that, that's another $400 or $500. Who pays for all that? Technicians and shops invest a lot of money so that they can diagnose vehicles. Anybody can change a part. Anybody can change a part. Knowing what part to change, that's where the money is. That's where the detail is. And not everybody can do that. And that's why we invest a lot of money in our, not only our tools, but in our knowledge base. And then comes the time to replace or repair the part. Here we have a little wrench, a 10 millimeter wrench. And if you're a professional watching this, you know that this wrench alone is expensive. This one wrench. This is a $38 wrench, just this one wrench. And when you buy them, you will buy a set. So it may have 12, 13, 15 wrenches. You're talking about $400 or $500 for a good quality tool. These are quality tools. These aren't, let's go down to Harbor Freight and get the whole store for $500. Yes, we do buy some of that, but a true professional will invest in good, high quality tools. And I've been doing that since I started in this business. And most of you that are listening have as well. So how can you, the customer, and again, no disrespect to anybody, but how you, the customer, come up to a qualified, certified automotive technician and say, I want you to check this car, tell me what's wrong, and yet you feel you shouldn't have to pay for that? Please forgive me and I'm sorry, but Mr. Customer, you are wrong. I respectfully say that you're wrong. If you're a customer, you're not a professional, you're a customer and you're listening to this. No disrespect to you, and maybe you feel that you shouldn't have to pay. No disrespect to you, but let's be reasonable. You know, we have families. We have to support our family. Every time we go to Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Publix, your favorite grocery store, they're shafting you for about $200-300 in groceries for a week or two, depending on how many members you have in your family. And that's not even for a buggy full. That's 2-3 things, half a buggy. Life has become very expensive, unfortunately. And we have to provide for our family. We have bills just like you, Mr. Customer. So if your employer, Mr. Customer, when you go to work that morning, the next morning, tomorrow, or whenever you go back to work, you walk in there and you start working, blah, 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 you start doing whatever it is you do, and then all of a sudden your employer walks up to you and say, hey, by the way, this first hour or two you're not, or 3, you're not going to get paid for. How would you feel, Mr. Customer? I'm sure you wouldn't like that. So neither do we. Regardless whether you do the repair with us or not, diagnostic is a part of that process, and it should be charged accordingly. It should be. And unfortunately, we'll go ahead and throw ourselves, the professionals, under the bus a little bit. And this may vary from area to area, but here in South Florida is a common practice. South Florida, man, South Florida is tough on businesses because of the mentality, I guess, of the people. Oh, Mr. Customer, it's gonna be $200. Let's just say it's $100 for a diagnostic fee. But guess what? If you do the job with us, we won't charge you that $100. We won't charge you that. We'll waive that. So it makes the customer feel better. I guess it makes them feel like they're getting a deal. And a lot of times it doesn't work that way. What they do is they kind of incorporate that diagnostic into the price of the repair because they have to pay the technician time for diagnostics. A technician is not going to work for free. It took me an hour. It took me 3 hours. It took me 2-3 days to figure this problem out. I need to get paid for those 2 or 3 days. Or those 2 or 3 hours, whatever the case may be. We need to get paid. That's how we feed our family. So the shop has to pay the technician. So the shop's got to make money too. So they're not going to just, piss away money. So what they do is they kind of play the numbers game, make you feel better, Mr. Customer, but they're going to charge you. I'm not saying that they do that all the time, but I have seen that happen. And you may be saying, well, what are you complaining about if you're getting your money regardless? Well, I don't like doing that. I don't feel that I should have to play that game with anybody. I don't feel that I should have to lie to a customer and say, no, I'm waiving the fee when I'm really charging it. I don't like that. I feel I should be upfront. My thing is honesty and transparency. I should tell you up front, listen, it's going to be X amount for diagnostic, X amount for the repair. If you don't want to do the repair, that's fine, but I need to make my diagnostics. And if you do the repair, I still got to get paid for that time. I spent 2-3 hours trying to figure out your problem. Nobody else that you took it to figured it out. I figured it out, and I need to get paid for that. Because I've had those situations. They've come to me and said, hey, listen, I've had a couple people look at it. They don't know what it is. And then I've spent 3, 4, 5 a whole day looking for a problem. Finally found it, fixed it. You're happy. Okay, what about my 1 day of labor looking for stuff, And again, we need to be reasonable with our prices too. We don't want to squeeze too much the customer. We got to be reasonable as well on our part, but we do have to get paid. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this segment. I don't know what to call this segment, rant and raves, or I don't know. I'm not sure. Leave a comment and tell me what we should call this, and maybe we should do more of it. I don't know. Because there's lots that we can talk about. There's lots of things that we can talk about that in the automotive industry is I find that it's a problem. If you go to a doctor, if you go to a doctor and tell them, look, my knee hurts, they're gonna take plaques, they're gonna take this, they're gonna do blood work, they're gonna do a million things, and when you get that bill 2 months down the road or 2 weeks or whatever, when you get that 10, 15, $20,000 bill in the mail, they're gonna charge you for each one of those tests. Each one, an X-ray, $500, an MRI, $1,000, blood work, couple $100, whatever it is, they charge. We are doctors. We are automotive doctors. Why can we not charge? We have to. If you go to a lawyer, they charge you per hour. All the research they have to do, all the lookup, we have to do the same. We don't just have an encyclopedia textbook in our brain and say, okay, yeah, when it makes this thing, it's that. When it does this, it is that. No, we have to get in our database, which is another cost. We gotta have our computers. We gotta have our internet connection. We have to have a subscription for all data, Mitchell Pro on demand, whatever you're using. We have to pay for that, and it's a lot of money. I know. I just paid for my subscription not too long ago. It's a lot of money just to be able to look things up. Oh, your car takes 5 quarts of oil. Oh, let me look at the wiring diagram for this. Oh, let me see what the torque spec is. Oh, let me see what the flow chart of this code is. What do we have to check? Campaigns or bulletins. Are there any bulletins for this particular code? Let me look that up. It costs us money to do that. So it's unfair that Mr. Customer comes in and says, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. And it frustrates me sometimes. Luckily, I don't have a whole lot of issues with that, but I know that as a whole, it is a problem throughout the industry. And I'm not saying we don't throw a bone every now and then. Sometimes I do let people have diagnostics. If it's something real quick, a blown fuse, here's the fuse. It was just a blown fuse. It took me 10 minutes to figure that out. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. Save that money and give it to somebody else. Or next time you come for some other problem, we'll square it away then. Don't worry about it. I'm not opposed to doing stuff like that. On the contrary, it's a good relationship builder. But don't expect to come over here to spend my time, an hour, 2 hours, driving your car around, lifting your car up, putting my $2,000 scanner on there, just so you can determine if you want to buy a car, and then say, no, I shouldn't have to pay for that. You didn't do anything. That's not cool. Not cool and unacceptable, in my opinion. And again, I don't want to disrespect anybody if you feel that way, but it is what it is. So if you feel you shouldn't have to pay, well, then I feel that your employer should shave off an hour or two every day when you go to work. And see how that feels. Again, no disrespect to anybody. So, thank you guys for watching, for hearing me vent. I digress. We'll save the energy for another topic. Leave a comment in the comment section of what you feel. If you agree, if you disagree, if you feel that you shouldn't have to pay, explain why. Respectfully explain why you feel you shouldn't have to pay. And I'm more than willing to hear it out and weigh it out. But express your opinion respectfully, of course. And I don't want no vulgarities in the comment section. But please share what you feel, what your feelings are. And I hope you guys enjoy this brief. Well, it's not so brief. We've been ranting about 20 minutes. But I felt that it was necessary. So thank you guys for all your support. If you're subscribed to the channel, I really truly appreciate all your support. If you're not subscribed, please do like or dislike if you don't like what I talked about, and put down in the comment why you dislike it. Just so I can improve in my future videos. Thank you so much. Catch you guys on the next video. Ciao.